Hi, fellow wizards! Welcome to Commander Playground, where we bring characters from other worlds into your magic table. But first, if you really want to support my content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. This really helps me to keep creating more content for you. Now with that, let's get started. I wanted to start this channel with a set of characters I had thought about for a while now. And since this is actually coming this year, I didn't want to miss the chance of having my own take on avatar characters as commander cards. So, based on the series, there are different types of elemental bending. Even among skilled benders of the same element, their ability depends on their training and mastery. That's why I wanted to introduce the bending ability in these cards with an X value. So, here's my take. Firebending reads, as long as you control a mountain, whenever this creature attacks, it deals X damage to the defending player. Waterbending is, as long as you control an island, whenever this creature blocks, prevent the next X damage that would be dealt to it and its controller this turn. Earthbending states, as long as you control a forest, at the beginning of each combat, this creature gets +X/+X until end of turn. And Airbending reads, as long as you control a plains, this creature has flying and at the beginning of your end step, you gain X life. Now, let's dive into the cards. First up is Aang, Master of Elements. He's a 3/3 legendary creature human avatar for 2 red, green, white, and blue. Aang has Vigilance and Firebending, Waterbending, Earthbending, and Airbending all at 3. If Aang would die, put it into its owner's library second from the top. This ability symbolizes the cycle of the avatar's reincarnation. Aang's design reflects his versatility and balance. Each bending ability highlights his mastery over the 4 elements, while his survival ability shows his spiritual resilience and the continuity of his avatar spirit. Next, Katara of the Southern Water Tribe. She's a 2/3 legendary creature human for 1 blue-blue. Katara has Waterbending 2, which helps her to prevent damage while she's blocking. She can also tap to add 1 blue mana for instants or sorceries, and when she becomes tapped, you may put a stun counter on target permanent, only once per turn. Katara's card emphasizes her supportive role and precise control in combat. Her waterbending ability helps her to survive, and her stun effect reflects her skill in freezing and immobilizing opponents, just like in the series, while also assisting in casting an instant or sorcery spell. Next is Sokka of the Southern Water Tribe. He's a 2/2 legendary human for 2 in blue. He has the first historic spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast. And whenever creatures attack you, they get -1/-0 for each other attacking creature. Sokka's card highlights his intelligence and strategic mind. The more creatures that attack you, the less powerful they become. This can turn the tides of the battle, especially if your opponent is playing a tokens deck. Sokka might not be a bender, but his abilities represent clever tactics, inventions, and leadership. And reducing the effectiveness of multiple attackers mirrors his resourcefulness in battle. Coming next, Toph, the Blind Bandit. She's a 1/3 legendary human for 3 green, with Earthbending 2 and Trample. She has an activated ability that says, you may sacrifice a land to choose between doubling her power until end of turn or have her fight a creature an opponent controls. Any of these abilities can be activated only once each turn. This prevents to abuse her ability while keeping her strong and reliable. Toph's design captures her bold, relentless nature. Her ability to manipulate the battlefield through land sacrifice reflects her seismic powers and earthbending control, while also capturing her blunt, sarcastic, and confrontational personality. Next is Appa, Flying Bison. He's a 2/4 beast creature for 3 in white with flying and flash. When Appa enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature you control and return it at the beginning of the next end step. I wanted to represent Appa in a simple yet effective way. This big guy is known for helping the Avatar team on many occasions, so his flying ability and blink-like effect emphasize his role as a lifesaver and a loyal companion who keeps his friends safe while traversing the skies. Now we have a fan favorite, and for good reasons. Prince Zuko, Scarred and Banished, is a 4/3 legendary human warrior for 1 red with Firebending 2. You may exert him when attacking. If you do, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn, and you add 1 red mana for each land exiled this way. which doesn't empty as steps and phases end. Zuko's card reflects his passionate, determined, and at times reckless personality. His firebending shows his vast offensive power, while his exert ability and his impulse draw effect represent his obsession for finding the Avatar, which he finds to be his way to redemption and his driving motive for a great part of the series. Coming next, we have our dear Uncle Iroh, Wise Mentor. He's a 2/4 legendary human advisor for 2 red with firebending 3. Whenever he deals damage to a player, you create a colorless T artifact token. You may tap and sacrifice X T tokens to draw X cards, then discard X cards. Iroh embodies wisdom and guidance, and is also known to be a great T lover. These T tokens reflect his nurturing and reflective nature, turning damage into insight. A subtle reminder that strength and thoughtfulness can coexist. These T tokens also have an activated ability by themselves. You may tap, pay 1, and sacrifice a T token to gain 2 life. This is also an effective way to provide value, similar to a food token, providing 1 less life for 1 less mana. Next, we have the great antagonist of the series, Firelord Ozai, Scourge of Nations. He's a 5/4 legendary human warlord for 2 red with firebending 3 and menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control more creatures than each opponent, Ozai deals 3 damage to each of them. Ozai's card captures his ruthless aggression and strategic dominance. First, his firebending 3 demonstrates his proficiency in firebending abilities. His menace ability speaks for itself, as it represents Ozai's role as the main antagonist and a menacing force to be dealt with. His last ability alludes to his overwhelming control over the other nations. By having a vaster army in the battlefield than any other player, he's able to deal damage to each opponent. This essentially represents the Fire Nation's dominance in the context of the series. And finally, for our last card, we have Sozin's Comet. This enchantment costs 4 red mana and increases firebending from your creatures by 2. If a red creature you control would deal damage to a permanent an opponent controls, it deals double that damage instead. Sozin's Comet reflects the epic scale of events in the series, dramatically boosting the power of all firebenders on the battlefield. It's the ultimate symbol of the Fire Nation's devastating power. Just be mindful that this only applies to permanents, which I find to be a nice way to keep the value of the card in check, while also providing great power to red creatures, especially with the firebending ability. Thank you for all your support. Which of these cards was your favorite? Be sure to tell me in the comments below. If you like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share with others. And if you want to support in other ways, you can follow us on Instagram or subscribe to our Patreon, where you can find nice rewards for a very modest contribution. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.